Hello, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world, and this day is progressing very, very well for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful loved ones. Beautiful, intelligent black people, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Aren't you just sick and tired of these fake ass unpatriotic Republicans wrapping themselves in the American flag and espousing how much they love the national anthem, how patriotic they are, and how much they are doing for the American people? It's all a pack of lies. Those white racist Republicans are none of those things. They are traitors. They are white supremacists. They are definitely unpatriotic. When in the course of many human events, it becomes necessary sometimes. Sometimes it becomes necessary for a people, especially black folks, people that look like me, to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal action, the separate and equal position to which the laws of nature and the laws of nature's creator entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that we should declare the causes which impel us to separate from them. We must declare the causes which impel us to separate from those fake ass, phony, unpatriotic white folks calling themselves politicians. Remember this. On July the 9th, I believe it was on July the 9th of 1776, in Lower Manhattan, New York, a riotous group. Yeah, it was a riot. The riotous group of armed white militiamen went berserk. These armed white militiamen went berserk on July the 9th, 1776. After hearing these words for the first time, the belligerent thugs, the militiamen, destroyed property and tore down a statue. It was a legendary act of defiance that inspired a movement. That's what those armed white racist militiamen did on July the 9th, 1776. Nonetheless, their actions did not change a thing. It was a meaningless act. It was a meaningless act, but it was also a symbolic protest. It was organized by activists who our historians called a grassroots group of instigators and provocateurs who used an extreme form of civil disobedience, threats, and in some cases actual violence. This spontaneous outburst of fuck this shit, this spontaneous outburst of fuck this shit by armed white racist militiamen did not have a profound effect on the outcome of the American Revolution. But these so-called Sons of Liberty who rioted at the first reading, there was a riot at the first reading of the Declaration of Independence, would eventually become known by another, more compelling name. These rioters, these racist white militiamen that protest on July 9th, 1776, were what is now called the Founding Fathers, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Like the Sons of Liberty, the Milwaukee Bucks, like the Sons of Liberty, like the Founding Fathers, the Milwaukee Bucks refuse to play a basketball game, will not give us liberty. The Milwaukee Bucks refused to play last night, and that act will not give us liberty. It will not rewind the 7 bullets that pierced Jacob Blake's back as his children watched in horror. As his children watched in horror. The demonstration will not have any effect on the disproportionate murders of black folks at the hands of these white racist KKK cops. Yet, people want to know why the NBA players decided to say, fuck your couch, fuck you, and fuck your couch, white boy racist. Was it an act of defiance? Was it intended to spark change? What will happen next? Or, as another great patriot put it more plainly, as another great patriot put it more plainly. What will happen next? What will happen next? I will try to explain it. After Julia Jackson's son, Jacob Blake, was gunned down in front of her grandchildren, she called for peace and justice. The Kenosha, Wisconsin address where Mr. Blake shed his blood is less than 40 miles from where the Milwaukee police officer attacked and tased the Milwaukee Bucks player, Sterling Brown, who goes to work every night with the city's name across his chest. How can they do this to Milwaukee Bucks basketball players? This is how they can do it. This is how it can happen. You cannot be black in America without a sense of idealism and hope for this country. Even the most woke among us must tactfully admit it. We do not trust the common good of mankind, or that the moral arc of the universe bends toward justice. And because this country starts withering the candy-coated optimism of youth down to a bitter nub from the moment a black child emerges from the protection of their mother's womb. Most of us stopped placing our hopes in the benevolence of white folks a long time ago. There isn't a silver or evidence in the majestic mountains of the amber waves of grain that allow us to believe that white folks will ever do what's right. White folks will never do what's right. Republicans will never do what's right. White supremacists will never do what's right. Traitors will never do what's right. White nationalists will never do what's right. All of my life, all of our lives, we've had to fight. We've had to fight. We've had to fight. And we are still fighting. On August the 27th, in the year 2020, we're still fighting the same fight. We're still fighting the same racist white folks. The same racist white folks. In the last 244 years, 1 month and 22 days, no one has sacrificed their safety, their well-being and their lives to perfect this union more than black folks, more than black Americans. I stand on that. No one has sacrificed more in an effort to perfect this perfect union more than black folks have. People that look like me. This is our shit. This is our shit. Not only did our ancestors build this country by investing blood and brow, sweat, our ancestors invested their lives, their blood, and their brow sweat. But they are also the only group in our nation's history who did this without the expectation of receiving dividends. Our ancestors, our black ancestors, built this America without any expectation of receiving dividends from building it. No one belongs to this country more than black folks, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Don't let these white racist Republicans and these white racist Democrats tell you any difference. White boys love America like birds love their wings. White boys love America like birds love their wings. When the Kaepernick hating flag zealots, white zealots, wax poetic about the troops and the anthem. You remember that bullshit? What Colin Kaepernick did had nothing to do with the flag, the anthem, and the troops, but these fake-ass white supremacy believing Republicans and white America intertwined the two. They deflected to that instead of staying on topic and discussing why Colin Kaepernick took a knee. They are not talking about the Constitution or the pile of dirt fertilized with discarded black bodies. Remember that. The soils throughout this America have been fertilized by discarded black bodies, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. They are displaying their affection for the status quo. White folks, racist white folks, are displaying their affection for the status quo, partially built on the birthright privileges of whiteness. The status quo of these white folks was built on the birthright privileges of whiteness. They were born into it because of their whiteness. These white folks pretend to love the goose, but it is actually the golden eggs that they are defending. They're always deflecting. They're always denying. They are always lying. And they are always projecting, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. Not only did white boys, who I must admit helped a little, not only did white boys build a land of limitless opportunity for themselves, they did it only for themselves. That's not patriotism. That's not patriotism. That is selfishness. That is what white folks are. They are selfish. They're not patriotic. Never have been, never will be. Those white tea tossers may have thought that all men are created equal, but they never endowed all men. They were slave owners themselves. They never endowed all men. They never endowed all men with life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Most of the men, the white boys, who signed that riot-inducing document were slave owners themselves. They were willing to take up arms against the mightiest army of the planet, but refused to fight for actual liberty and justice for all. And they're still refusing to do it today, on the 27th of August in the year of 2020. And as a Dear John letter states, in every stage of these oppressions, black folks have petitioned for redress. In the most humble term, black folks have consistently, since the inception of this plantation called America, petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petition have been answered only by repeated injury, repeated lynching, repeated incarceration, repeated criminalization, repeated marginalizing economically, repeated disenfranchising politically. We fought, black folks fought in their wars while not having access to the democracy that black folks built. Our tax dollars funded their white asses, and their white-only institutions, while we black folks stayed in a separate and unequal America. We composed the rhythms they danced to, and we paved the path to their prosperity. We are the invisible God that built this fucking country. Black folks are the invisible God that built this fucking country. who shed his grace on this nation. Who shed his grace on this nation. If, and that's a big damn if. It's a big if there's ever liberty and justice for all, it will be because black folks manifested it with our magic. If this country ever become a full democracy, it will be because of black folks, not white folks. It will be black folks. We are no angrier than we were last week or last month or when Trayvon Martin was murdered or when Sandra Bland was murdered. We are as tired as we were when Breonna Taylor bit the bullet or when George Floyd gave up the ghost. This country would collapse upon itself if we ever sat down and acknowledged our weakness, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. If we were ruled by anger, the blood from white throats would create an actual crimson tide. If black folks was really angry, the blood from white throats would create a crimson tide, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. So if you are wondering why the Milwaukee Bucks decided to give a middle finger to a game of basketball, why sequestered in a bubble that protects them from the whims of a white supremacist who ignores their genocide? I'll tell you why. If you wonder why the Milwaukee Bucks decided to let this country marinate in its injustices, if only for a microsecond, it is not because they think their protests will somehow lead to a change. If you really want to know why we keep loving this country that refuses to love us back, here's your answer. Because all of those deaf cult defenders, all of those deaf cult defenders are just monuments. And we are the true patriots. Black folks, people that look like me, are the true patriots. Our ancestors were the true patriots. Today, on the 27th of August, in the year of 2020, black folks right here on this plantation called America are the true patriots because we are better than them. Because we are better than them. Because we are better than them. Because we built this motherfucker. Because black folks built this motherfucker. This plantation called America. That's all I have on this one.